it's kind of disheartening, like I said, with the guaranteed loans, trying to get people into debt and putting money in the pockets of the financial institutions, and the grants being geared mainly towards governmental entity. Hey, how you guys doing? So I am taking a break from working on the chicken coop. For being December 24th, it's like 55 degrees right now, and not that I'm complaining, but it's getting a little warm. I'm going to have to go take the sweatshirt and the long johns off because I'm going to be sweating really bad here in a little bit. But I thought while I was sitting down, taking a break, that I would talk to y'all about something that Yoda and I did. So we finally pulled the trigger. We've been talking about it for years, and we applied for our LLC, so our limited liability corporation. We got it. Grumpy Acres LLC is now an official entity. Now the reason we did that is because our ultimate goal is to be able to make enough income off this property to not have to go to jobs, not to go to the job. And to do that, we have to have a business entity. We got to do it the right way. We can't do stuff under the table and all that. So we went ahead and we got the LLC, and that reminds me, I got to change the end credit card so that it says Grumpy Acres LLC now. That's pretty cool. Anyway, where was I? Oh, so we got the LLC, and we got the business account opened up at the bank, and we're starting to do business through the LLC and not through our personal accounts. And the benefit of running the LLC is it takes some liability away from your personal assets and puts it on the corporate assets. And tax-wise, you can take a lot more stuff off as expenses, because everything we do out here is farm related. And since we're an LLC and we're going to be making money off the agricultural part of the homestead, we can claim all that stuff on taxes. At some point we're going to have to show a profit, but that's going to be a couple years down the road, because as you can see behind me, there's still a lot of cleanup and a lot of work that needs to be done. So as a continuation of the whole LLC thing, I work for a tribal government. Excuse me. And they rely heavily on grants and government loans and stuff to do things. And so they've got a position of grant manager. And I was talking to the lady that does that job, because it's a fascinating job. Listen to her talk about all the things that they do to get the money and stuff is really, from a financial standpoint, really kind of fascinating to me. And I was asking her about loans, because Yoda and I had heard from friends, different homesteaders, different people we know, about different small business loans and agricultural grants. I'll talk about the loans and grants here in just a second. But anyway, they talked about these programs to help small businesses and farmers and stuff. So I asked her about it, and she suggested I go to the Small Business Association or Administration and the USDA websites and look at their guaranteed loan and grants pages. So I did. Now, as far as the loans go, we're not going into debt, so that's a non-starter. But they've got guaranteed loans out there, and they've got grants that if you fulfill specific criteria, they'll give you the money and you don't have to pay it back and stuff. So the one thing that I noticed, and I looked through hundreds of these things on both the sites looking for these different programs. The one thing I noticed about a majority, like a vast, like over 95% of these loans, these programs, not the loans, the programs, is that they're not geared at small businesses and individuals. They say that they're out there, and there are. I found a renewable energy grant that would pay for 25% of a renewable energy project. So I think we're going to go ahead and apply for that one and see if we can't get some money to help with our solar project. So the thing is about these is they're aimed at the loans. The guaranteed loans are aimed at forcing people to deal with banks and going into debt. And if you've been watching our channel for any amount of time, you know that is antithetical to everything we're trying to do now. And it's the government is literally trying to force people into debt. They're trying to not force, because they're not forcing anybody to do anything. They're trying to coerce people into going into debt, and dealing with big banks and putting money into the pockets of the big financial institutions. And the grants, like these grants, most of them are aimed at governments, educational institutions, nonprofits, and big business trade groups, basically. That's the only way I can explain it. But there are very few of them that are geared towards small mom and pop businesses that if they are geared towards them, they've got some really onerous hooks in them that when you read it, it's like, why would I want to do that? Because that just gives the government the right to get into my business, and yes, every grant to an extent does that, but some of them, man, I'm telling you, there's no way that I would apply for these things. The renewable energy one did not look like it had any hooks on it. I'm going to have to do some more deep diving. I'm going to talk to the state representative. Every state has a representative from the state government that knows about all these projects or these programs, and you can ask them questions about it and get information on it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for our thing. And even the most benign things dealing with the government has got hooks in it. As an example, we lived in Missouri before we moved, and they had a program where the conservation department would stock your pond. That's great, man. I build a new pond, it could cost you several $1,000s to buy fish to put into the pond. And if the state's willing to do that free of charge, man, sounds like a good program. Problem is, it's not free of charge. The charge, or the hook as I like calling it, is that you have to open up your pond for the public to fish in for a certain amount of time. That's kind of defeats the purpose on why I bought an isolated piece of property and I'm building a pond so I've got water security for myself and my animals, right? Having the public come in and traipsing all over my pond. So, somebody might think that's a great idea, but personally, I don't think it is. Hang on a second. Okay, I'm back. I had to go take care of something. We got something coming to the house today that needed to be addressed. So anyway, back to the subject. So, we're looking to try to get one of these grants, and it's kind of disheartening, like I said, with the guaranteed loans, trying to get people into debt and putting money in the pockets of the financial institutions, and the grants being geared mainly towards governmental entities at different levels and nonprofits and stuff. You would think that the taxpayers themselves would be able to get a little bit of their money back in their pockets, but the system just isn't built to do that for the most part. And I know somebody's going to say something about us applying for a grant and getting government money. I don't have a problem with this in this case, and it's not just me; it's anybody that's in the same boat as we are. I've drawn a paycheck where taxes were taken out since I was 10 years old. Some form of tax was taken out ever since I've started drawing a paycheck, and I've drawn a paycheck every single year since then for the last 45 years. And I'm here to tell you, I listen to these politicians wag their fingers and point at these corporations and talk about the greedy corporations and all that. In my entire life, the U.S. government has taken more money out of my pocket than all the other corporations that I've dealt with combined. And for those politicians to sit there and point the finger at somebody else, a business, and accuse them of being greedy, is mind-boggling to me. So in something like this, if I can get a grant and get some of my money back, then that's awesome. I think everybody should do that. And I've been paying for other people for the past 2 decades almost. I don't know if they still do it, but the Social Security Administration, whenever you maxed out your benefits, like the money you put in would max out the benefits you're going to get, they used to send a letter to you and let you know that you had done that, you'd maxed that out, and now that you were actually paying to assist somebody else. I don't remember what the official letter was called, but I remember we got one. I was 36, so it would have been 19 years ago, almost 2 decades ago. I got it telling me that I had maxed out my benefits, and Yoda read it and misunderstood what it meant, so we had to go look at it and read it really thoroughly and figure out what they were talking about. So that's the only reason why I remember that letter. Now, I don't know if they still send that out or not or what, but they used to. So like I said, I paid a lot of money into this system, and I kind of like to get some of it back. And if I can get it back to use for me and not somebody else, I don't see a problem with that. So if you're thinking about maybe getting a grant or something, and that's something that weighs on you, if you've been a productive member of society and you've paid your taxes, go do it. Go do it. Try to get some of the money back and put it in your own pocket. Use that money to build wealth for yourself rather than letting the government use it to spread largesse around to people that will vote for them. Well, that's just it. That's what we're doing. One thing it's kind of a tangent here, kind of unrelated. I was listening to somebody the other day, and they made the comment, they were talking about people on social media, and they made a comment to something along the lines of people shooting YouTube videos and then begging for subscribers. And I was like, that's, in the back of my mind, it's asking people to subscribe. I see everybody else doing it, so I was like, okay, I got to do that. I'm going to ask other people to subscribe. I'm not going to, in the videos itself, I'm not going to ask people to subscribe anymore. If you're watching this channel and you don't want to subscribe, that's fine. I'll have it on the end card at the end of the video, just where it says thank you for watching. If you want to subscribe, do that. But I'm going to try not to ask for subscribers in the videos anymore, because I'm not going to beg people to follow us. I'm not going to beg people to listen to our message. So if you are a subscriber, thank you very much. We still want you to subscribe, but I'm not going to beg for it. All right. So remember, before I say go live a life done free, remember we've got the 100 subscriber giveaway, and last time I looked, we were at 88. So we're approaching it pretty quick. I'm hoping the next couple of weeks we can get a video that hits it and goes viral, and we get some subscriptions, and we're able to get that giveaway for you guys, because we really want to show our appreciation for you taking your time out of your day and watching our videos. Till next time, go live a life done free. This is Grumpy G getting back to working on the chicken coop. Later. Thanks, Milo.